8 countries are about to be improved, new cities are on the way, and a brand new roadmap extending into 2024. This is a huge week for Microsoft Flight Simulator related news. Let's start then with those brand new countries. These are going to touch down on the 7th of November and will form a part of World Update 15. This update is going to focus on Northern Europe and Greenland, but it's also going to overhaul 2 of the previous World Updates, which a fair few people found, well, not entirely ideal. So they're returning to Canada and New Zealand as well, and we're going to see both of these countries vastly improved. Now, this World Update is something I'm especially interested in seeing because, well, rocky and mountainous terrain is one of my favourite in Flight Simulator. So the fact that Northern Europe is going to get overhauled along with Canada and New Zealand should be pretty good for those of us who like flying in these types of areas. World Update 15 then is Northern Europe and Greenland, and it's also going to include the Faroe Islands as well. So yes, you may well remember that the Nordics have been updated. That was a part of World Update 5. 10 updates later, Microsoft have circled all the way back round and are updating these areas again. Now you may wonder why. Well, it turns out that these are going to be getting some fairly high detailed resolutions to the terrain. Denmark is going to be getting a very impressive 40cm resolution. Norway, meanwhile, is going to be getting a still fairly impressive 1m resolution, whilst Finland, Sweden, Greenland and the Faroe Islands are going to be getting a 2m resolution terrain updates. I'm really hoping to see some vastly improved mountains in all of these areas. Now, terrain is not the only thing that's going to be updated. We're also going to be getting 10 new photogrammatic cities. Some of these are going to, well, you can see the list on the screen right here, but some of them are going to include Oslo and Copenhagen, and Gothenburg is also set to be improved, although this one apparently needs to be reviewed by the Swedish military before it can be released. Elsewhere, 5 handcrafted airports are going to be included in the update, plus a whole list of new activities and challenges that we normally expect to see in these World Updates. So that's quite a bit of content going into the World Update. But these World Updates wouldn't be anything without improved and brand new points of interest. World Update 15 then is going to feature a total of 90. I'm going to leave some of these playing on the screen whilst I talk through the rest of the video. All of this then is set to release on the 7th of November. Now, if you're finding this video useful or interesting, please do consider liking and subscribing. It does immensely help these videos and the channel as well. So yeah, there's some pretty extensive work going into Microsoft Flight Simulator, and the focus is not entirely on terrain or world updates either. The next update after this is Sim Update 14, and this is currently in beta test. If you want to test this yourself, you can do so through following the instructions in the video description. This is open to both PC users as well as console users. Now, it seems one of the main focuses here is to create some improvements and fix the problems with issues where players cannot see each other in multiplayer. So I guess the more people testing this one out, the better. Now, this beta phase does have some release notes to go along with it, giving us some insight as to the content we can expect to see. Well, actually, I say content, there doesn't appear to be anything substantially new as such. Most of this is fixes, but that's by no means a bad thing. In fact, it's actually a very good thing. There are a few new things, however, we can expect to see, and one of these is the improved atmospheric lighting we've seen mentioned previously. And Microsoft and Asobo have gone into a bit more detail as to what all of this is actually about. Essentially then, they're going to be improving the colour and lighting wavelengths that are applied to the ozone layer scattering system. This in turn should change the colour of the sun and result in more realistic colours of the sky and the lighting of the world in general. Now, as I've said many times before in many other videos, I do believe that lighting is perhaps one of the most important things, if not the most important thing, when it comes to visuals in any game or simulation. I mean, even worlds that have fairly low quality textures or geometry can look very good if they have really nice lighting. Fortunately, it's looking as though Microsoft Flight Simulator is going to have both decent quality terrain as well as high quality lighting. Very interested to see how all this is going to pan out. Unfortunately, just yet there's no examples of what we can expect to see, but do keep an eye out because that's something I will be having a close look at. Moving on to the weather, this is another thing that's going to be improved with Sim Update 14, and more specifically, they're having a look at snow and ice coverage accuracy. This is something that needs to be improved with the live weather. Overall then, live weather has been a bit of a hit and miss affair ever since Microsoft Flight Simulator released. A lot of people feel it's been very accurate, I guess depending on where they live, whilst other people feel it's far removed from what they actually see. It does seem pretty clear though that Asobo and Microsoft do want to improve the weather, the live weather especially, although it's something that's taken multiple steps and multiple patches to actually implement. So the next iteration is going to be with Sim Update 14, as we'll see that improved snow and ice coverage. The feedback snapshots meanwhile show that improving the live weather is an ongoing issue, so something we're very likely to see happen more and more over the coming months. Now, talking of improvements, this is something that simmers are going to be able to do themselves with Microsoft Flight Simulator very soon with the upcoming World Hub. This is going to allow players to change many of the airports which are not entirely accurate. So if you live near an airport or an airstrip or an airfield that you feel isn't as accurate as it should be, you'll be able to jump in and improve this and correct it yourself. This is going to form a part of the World Hub. It's something that simmers have been waiting for a very long time at this point. Fortunately, it seems we finally have a date for this update. That's going to be somewhere in November or December. Now, keep in mind, this isn't going to be the full release for the World Hub, but rather it's going to be an alpha. That means it's going to be very early, likely to have a fair few bugs, and that means it's likely to come with a few problems. But either way, simmers are going to be able to test this one out very soon. And personally, I'm very interested to see just how many airports and airfields actually get updated once simmers get their hands on this. Of course, any changes won't immediately go live. They will need to be approved by Microsoft, and after which point they will eventually be rolled into an upcoming update, so either a world update or a sim update. This does seem to be a really good way of going. After all, don't forget that Microsoft Flight Simulator does have over 37,000 different airports. So yeah, probably a bit much to expect Microsoft or Asobo to manage all of these themselves. Moving on to the brand new roadmap. This was released just yesterday, as dated the 2nd of November, and it gives us a bit of indication as to what to expect in terms of content going up to late January 2024. And we can see at a very quick glance that Microsoft are not planning on slowing down updates for Flight Simulator anytime soon. So as mentioned early on in the video, we can see right here in the roadmap that the 7th of November is going to be a World Update 14. We've already discussed that. On the 27th of November, we're going to get a developer live stream, and this will be with the head of Microsoft Flight Simulator, Jörg Newman, as well as Seb and Martial from Asobo. Now, very likely that Jörg is going to be showing off another roadmap on this live stream. That's something I'm particularly interested in seeing, as last year, around about this time, Jörg gave us an insight as to what to expect for the entirety of 2023. So, very keen to see if they've got any plans for the entirety of 2024. Moving into December, we can see on the 5th of December, Sim Update 14 is going to be released. That's the one that's currently in beta testing. So very nice that this is getting over a month of testing before it actually goes live. Should hopefully, potentially, theoretically at least, avoid a few of the larger problems that we've seen with other sim updates. As we get towards the holiday period and Christmas and all that, around the 19th of December, we can expect to see a City Update 5. Now, these have been pretty interesting in previous releases. These update city photogrammetry in various locations around the world. Whilst the cities this time around have not yet been detailed, we can expect to see more information on that very soon. So that's the second big update we can expect to see in December. And then finally, we come into January in 2024. Not actual physical dates here, only a window of late January where we can expect to see World Update 16. And this one, as yet, hasn't been announced, but likely we'll see whatever this is going to be around about the 27th of November, I would have thought, with the developer livestream, as that's typically when they announce these things. So there we have it, a very busy week in terms of news for Microsoft Flight Simulator, and plenty new content and updates are heading this way. Meanwhile, if you're interested in checking out any other videos, please do take a look at the ones on the screen right here.